Welcome to the Digital Entrepreneur Summit 2020. This is Shannon Portugal, founder of Digital Entrepreneur Bootcamp, your host. So right now we have a sought-after international speaker and leading expert on rewiring the unconscious mind for success and tapping into your personal potential. The author of a top-rated self-help book and has educated and transformed the lives of thousands of people across the world for over 20 years. Founder at Pluto's Mind, Tiffany Toombs. Hi, Tiffany.
Hello, how are you? All
So
right.
let's hear your presentation.
Yes. So if I had to start my business again, there's a number of things that I wish I would have figured out sooner. And the first is that the easiest way to set yourself apart in the online marketing space is by adding value. A lot of people, they are afraid to give away too much free content. They have been told by other people not to give away a whole lot of free stuff because it then cheapens what you are selling, or it may cause people to not want to buy from you at all. The way that our brain is wired, though, is that when we buy from people that we know, like, and trust. And so if I can demonstrate for you that I know what I'm talking about, that I can solve your problem by giving you small actionable items that will help move you closer towards solving your pain or closer towards where you want to be, then I've demonstrated already before I even ask you for money that I am the expert in this space. And so I then gain credibility in your eyes. It helps you know, like, and trust me a whole lot faster. And then when I do go and ask for the sale, you already know that I am the expert. Now, when I am doing that, it also works on the brain in another way, in that if this is the kind of information I'm going to give you for free, imagine what I can give you if you were actually paying me, if we were working together on a more regular basis. And so we're also wired for reciprocity, which means if I give you something, you feel compelled to give me something back in return. And so when I'm consistently giving you value, and this was something I figured out about 8 months into starting my business, was that I could position myself as the go-to expert. I could build my business to 6 figures organically without spending a dollar on social media ads, by just consistently every single day putting out value, putting out written posts, putting out video posts that hit on people's pain points and gave them just a little tip, like the what, not the how. Give them step 1 of a 10-step process that will help them reach their goals. And I very quickly built a whole lot of influence where people were recommending me to other people. People were tagging me, sharing my posts. When somebody else posted about needing a life coach, or they needed some mindset work done, or they needed a book on personal development or self-help, then my name was being tagged. And I hadn't spent any money on social media ads to do this, because I was putting out so much content, I became known in so many circles as the go-to person. So if I was to start all over again, that would be the number one place that I would start, is I would put out content consistently like I do now that helped solve people's problems. I would go into other people's Facebook groups and obviously ask the administrator of that group if you can do live videos and whatnot. But within the rules of that group, just give value. That's something I do every single day now. Is there's a couple of different Facebook groups that I'm in that my target market is in, that my audience, the entrepreneurs that I want to work with, are in. And I'll just go into those groups and I'll say, one day I'll talk about one mindset tip, and the next day I'll give them something else to think about. And I'll share bits and pieces of my story as well, so that they can see that I've gone through the same things that they have, as well as I know how to solve their problem. And I get at least a couple clients a month from doing this. The second thing that I would do in building my business, which is something that I actually did when I first started my business, is find somebody else who has a database of my clients but offers them a different service and see how I can add value to them. You can use Facebook groups really well for this. If you are a digital marketer, for example, you can find mindset Facebook groups or entrepreneur Facebook groups and ask to give a free presentation in that group to help their members. You don't necessarily have to make a pitch or a sale at the end of your presentation, but if you give a lot of content, then people will want to connect with you to learn more from you. The thing about doing it that way is when you're giving free content and somebody reaches out to you, it becomes really easy to tell the people who only want the free stuff from the people who want to pay, because you've already given so much value. I've had people walk into conversations with me. I don't even have to sell them. They just have their credit card in their hand and they're like, here's my credit card, sign me up for whatever you're selling because I love what you're doing and I want to work with you more. I want to get to my solution faster and I know you're the person to do it. So I would find people who you can leverage their database. If you're in the coaching space, for example, you can look at fitness groups or entrepreneur groups, marketing groups, and go in there and add value to the people who are in those groups. And it doesn't matter if there's a couple hundred people in that group or tens of thousands, you're still going to be able to generate some leads for your business from doing that. So that would be my second tip. My third tip is when you're ready to start running ads, I learned from Frank Kern. We did his program on intent-based branding, and it is one of the most genius campaign methods that I've ever seen. And since I started using it, it skyrocketed my business. I wish I had known it 12 months before. I mean, I wish he had created it even before because I was in one of the first classes that he ran. But what it is it's about running organic, or it's running paid ads, engagement ads on Facebook to the Facebook Live videos that you're doing. And you can segment your target audience to be as specific or as broad as you want it to be. If you're doing a national campaign, so let's say you're running your ads all across the US, you would find a target audience for engagement that's about 2 million people. And you would run your video ads to these people. Now, with the way that the Facebook Business Manager is set up, is that once somebody has seen 10 seconds or more of one of your videos, you can exclude them from seeing any of the other, what we call cold audience videos, and it automatically moves them over to the warm audience bucket where they're going to be shown more videos and different videos. And what happens is all of a sudden this person sees you everywhere. And when somebody starts to see you absolutely everywhere, then their brain starts to correlate you as the expert or the celebrity in that space. It doesn't matter if you are a nobody to start with, you can build an audience and a very like diehard following very quickly when you do this, because people will start to correlate you, right? If you drive down the street and you see Coca-Cola billboards every single intersection, if you're watching TV and every time an ad comes on, you're seeing an ad for a Dyson vacuum cleaner, all of a sudden it starts to tell you that this must be the best one. Now, engagement ads typically are less expensive. You can get engagement, which means people watch 10% to 25% of your video for like 1 cent. And so all you're doing is you're spending 1 cent to move that person into a warm bucket. So the reason that I like this campaign strategy so much is it doesn't really matter what your ad budget is, especially if you're just starting out and you don't have thousands of dollars to dump into marketing. That's totally fine, because you can get these people seeing your ads very, very quickly, and they're seeing a lot of you for 1 cent. The most I think I've ever paid on an engagement ad is 4 cents for that video per engagement. And that's people watching, that's people sharing, liking, commenting, whatever. And it allows those videos to go viral very, very quickly, so that more and more people see it. The more compelling your message that you're talking about in that video, the more likely you are to share it. I did a controversial video last year that got like 50,000 views in the space of 24 hours, because so many people were commenting and sharing. And the way that the Facebook algorithm works is that the more people engage with an engagement ad, the more people that Facebook's going to show it to for cheaper. And so we got a ton of leads within this 24-hour period, because then we were still directing people, even though it was an engagement ad, we still had a link to our offer in there. So we were still directing people to our freebie that we had available, and that caused them to opt in. That caused them to see even more of us. Once somebody opted in, they would see conversion ads from us. And then we were just constantly staying in front of these people. So we were showing up everywhere. So those would be my three biggest tips if I was to start all over again, is to really focus on how can I add value to the audience, whose database can I leverage, and using that intent-based branding strategy of running engagement ads to a cold audience. And then when people have watched 10 seconds or more, move them over into a warm audience bucket, so that people will then see you even more once they're in the warm bucket, because you're going to have less people in there than you are in the 2 million person audience that you set up for the cold audience. And then you're also running conversion ads to the people in the warm bucket, so that they're kind of getting hit from two angles. They're getting hit from, here's more value for you, and then here's just a straight up offer for you. Now, I would say the number one mistake that I made when I first started my business was I was not clear on my message. I wasn't clear on the people that I was talking to, and I didn't split my audiences. So the people that I work with, there's multiple different pain points. And what I didn't realize at the time was that if I give more than 3 benefits to my product or my service, then it's going to be lost on people. It's too much for people. So it's okay to split your audience and have, if your product helps entrepreneurs get out of their own way, for example, to have one specific ad and message going to them. And then if you have people who are in a corporate job and they want to leave and start a business, or they're suffering with mental blocks, then you can have a different ad set running to them. It can be for the exact same product, but the way that you talk to those target audiences are going to be different. And so I was attempting to just run traffic to kind of a very broad audience instead of segmenting it and running 2 different ads. And that's what I see a lot of people doing wrong now, is that they don't get very specific about their audience. What I'll do is I'll make a list of all the problems that I solve with my product and my service, and I will I'll direct people to whichever problem they're most likely to have, and I'll segment my audience. So I may have 10 different ads running to 10 different audiences for the exact same product or service, and I'll keep an eye on that for the first 48 hours, and I'll see which audiences are biting the most, and I will take out the ones that are not converting, the ones where I'm not getting a lot of engagement or clicks, and I'll focus my ad spend on the people who are clicking, on the audiences that are converting, and then I'll figure out a different way to talk to the other audiences. So video is big. You need to be definitely using video. It's the easiest way to show people who you are so that they can know, like, and trust you. I would say to also have a written version to those videos. The way that we take in information, I'm a very visual person, which a lot of people think that means I like to watch videos. I am not likely to watch a video, but if you write a long post, I will read every word that you write. So you want to have a good mix. Most people will watch video though, so the bulk of your audience is going to watch a video. It allows them to watch it while they're walking the dog because they can just listen, and they don't have to read. And people are becoming inherently lazier, so we have to make it easier for them to consume our content. Yeah. Any questions? I know that was about 25 minutes.
Okay, so thank you, Tiffany, for that. Can you give us a recap of your step by step? So first is giving value, as much value as possible to groups, so that you can be an expert. You can be seen as an expert, and to correlate you with that expertise. And second would be creating an engagement ads. Is that it?
Yeah, so the second one was find somebody who has a similar database to you and to figure out how you can add value to them. And this goes in the real world, not just on the digital, in the digital world. So I will contact like real estate agencies, I'll contact gyms and offer them a presentation as well for their staff. In the digital world, you can do the same thing through podcasts, through Facebook groups, through newsletters, whatever it is, you can offer value in those ways. And then the third one was to run the engagement ads so that you are seen everywhere and so that people want to reach out to you because they see you as being the expert in your space.
Okay, thank you for that, Tiffany. Can you give us a sneak peek, or what? Can you talk about what's going to be inside your online course?
Yeah, so my online course is it's a mindset course to help you get really clear on the mental blocks that have been holding you back, and I give you step-by-step tools on how to overcome them. So a lot of people lack the clarity, the understanding of how the mind works, and so a lot of mindset tools that people use, things like affirmations or visualizations or even meditation, they don't use them in the most powerful ways. So I'm going to walk you through step by step how to improve your mental tools that you use in your everyday life so that you can achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve in 2020.